those will be on the Western Caribbean. So as far as any impacts locally, too far out to say any of that. But there is a broad low that is expected to spin up in the Western Caribbean Sea over this weekend. So that's pretty far away at that point. A low chance of tropical development as it drifts north into next week. Way too early to tell the exact path, strength, or anything like that. If you're seeing anything like that on our model data or out there on the internet, use caution because, well, there's a chance it's just too early. But overall, what we are seeing when we're tracking the tropics, well, there's a chance Gordon is one area that has a chance of developing there in the central Atlantic, redeveloping as it weakens. But this area has a 20% chance of developing. The next name on the list, that would be Helene. So we'll be watching, like I said, over the weekend. So there's not even an area of low pressure to really track or monitor or give a starting point to until we get to Sunday. It looks like we start to see some of that energy associated with a low trying to develop there on Sunday, and then it's going to slowly drift a little bit to the north. Now, a lot of caveats to this forecast. Where this high pressure sets up and how strong it sets up will tend to steer this system one way or another into the Gulf of Mexico. Additionally, though, at the same time, this low pressure trough digs south. That's going to weaken the high pressure, shift it back over Texas, and additionally, low pressure, that's where these systems want to go. Air flows from high to low pressure. Tropical systems are attracted to the lower pressure, the troughs in the atmosphere, and we're going to see that setting up into next week. So the high shifts over Texas, trough in the east, and that's going to want to make this system likely move north in the Gulf of Mexico. But the timing of everything could factor into where exactly it goes, how strong it is, and all of that, because once we get those troughs, wind shear usually comes along with that trough as well, which would weaken the system. But overall model accuracy, we're still over a week out, so it's pretty poor. Keep that in mind, especially if you're looking at exact details. One of those exact details would be wave action. We're staying pretty weak on the waves until we get into next week, with the chance of some tropical development there into the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico. That will kick up our wave action next week. So if you have plans for anything offshore, keep an eye on the forecast, especially wave action is likely going to get rough there in the Gulf of Mexico next week.